Reince Priebus outlined the GOP's priorities for 2014. So what do we have? What do we have in the docket for the GOP? Immigration reform? What about income inequality? I know that's a huge topic. I like to cover it a lot. What about jobs? Jobs, right, John Banner? What about the deficit? Now, I know you guys love to talk about the deficit, but have you actually done anything about the deficit? That's what I'd like to wonder. That's what I wonder. Is that on the docket, sir? No. Of course not. You know what's the number one priority? Obamacare. Oh, you've got to be kidding. Okay. Yeah. Obamacare. That's right. According to a statement released by Reince Priebus, he said, quote, "We've promised that in 2014, we continue to pound away at Democrats and Obamacare, and that's how we're starting the year. Democrats are eager to change the subject, but Republicans aren't going to let that happen. That's why, I guess, we're starting up the year in this fashion, talking about Obamacare." Will they quit with the Obamacare? My God, man. Oh, it's law of the land. It's been settled. Get over it. But no, they're going to continue. They're going to continue hitting on the healthcare law. Just recently, a reporter asked Reince Priebus, quote, "If Obamacare is going to be the Johnny One-Note campaign for Republicans, in which every issue that comes up, you're going to respond with Obamacare. Or is there more to what Republicans want in 2014? Well, so what did Reince Priebus have to say about that? To that question, quote, "The answer is Obamacare." Okay, to be fair, he followed it up with "Oh, I'm just kidding, guys. Just kidding. But then he says this, quote, "It's not possible for this not to be the number one issue going into the 2014 elections. It's just not." So the answer to your question is, it is going to be the number one issue in 2014. So just kidding, but not really. I'm beginning to think this guy is full of BS. They continue to hit this Obamacare thing with all of their might. Okay? They're going after it. In fact, the RNC is actually launching some new radio ads in 2014 that are targeting Democrats that have voted for the healthcare law. That's, of course, no surprise. Of course they're going to hit Democrats with ads. But they're using this healthcare law as their main arsenal. That's the only thing they got. And they don't even really have that. And I'm going to get into that here in a minute. I've just noticed that every time something happens, something new happens in the debate, in the news cycle, the Republicans always have to go back and say, but what about Obamacare? What about Obamacare? Or something different happens, they say, yeah, but that's just a distraction from Obamacare. It's the stupidest thing ever. It's ridiculous. In fact, the unemployment insurance extension debate, Mitch McConnell actually tried to tie an amendment to that bill that passed the Senate that would cancel part of Obamacare. You would think that while all this is going on, or that because all this is going on, that the entire country is in a fervor. Oh, get rid of Obamacare. Get rid of it. Right? And the GOP continues to say, look at the polls. People hate this law. They hate Obamacare. Hate it with the passion. We're just doing the will of the American people. Well, maybe he should actually look into what the actual will of the people is. Now, according to a poll, 59% of people oppose the Affordable Care Act. And that's what they're using. They're saying, look at that. A majority of people are against the health care law. But with anything, when you break it down, when you really break it down and look at the numbers, you realize that, no, you're wrong. Check it out. A CNN or ORC poll that was taken, and that's where they get this, 49, or when they ask specific questions about how you feel the law or why you oppose it, you really get into how the American people are feeling. Now, 43% of people polled in the CNN ORC poll say that the Affordable Care Act is too liberal, to which I say, too liberal. You've got to be kidding me. This is a conservative health care plan. And this is how we get in, or this is why I'm going to get into what the rest of America thinks. Now, according to that same poll, 50% of people either support it or believe that it's not liberal enough. So you have a majority in this poll saying, we kind of like Obamacare, but it's not liberal enough for me. It's too conservative. We would like a public option, perhaps, or even single-payer health care. When you look at more polls, Kaiser Family Foundation tracking poll was taken in September. They actually showed that people of those opinions, 54% favored the Affordable Care Act or the possibility of making the ACA even more liberal, while 46% opposed it as too liberal. Now, that always astounds me. The Republicans have successfully divorced themselves from their own plan. Remember, the Heritage Foundation came up with this plan. Newt Gingrich supported this plan before he was against it. Mitt Romney instituted it in Massachusetts, and it's been actually really successful. 93% of people in Massachusetts are insured under this law. I just got to point out how ridiculous this is. They've actually managed to say, we didn't come up with that. No, that's Obama's plan. But this is what happens when you take Republican plans and implement them. As a Democrat, they immediately turn against you. They immediately turn against you and be like, but I didn't come up with that. That's an evil liberal socialist plot. It's communism. It's here to destroy America. No, it's not. That's ridiculous. It's your plan. And you better believe that once it actually becomes successful, and it will, despite the terrible rollout, it will be successful in what it set out to do, ensure a lot of people. It's not going to get everybody, and that's one of the shortcomings. And then, see, that's why I actually fit into the I oppose it because it's not liberal enough crowd. I do. I don't think it's... I would much prefer a single-payer system or at least a public option. But we didn't get any of those. So that's right now, I'm opposing the law, just on that principle. And I fit with most Americans. This just shows how fundamentally progressive Americans' priorities are. We actually want a more liberal healthcare plan. We want a more progressive healthcare plan. This is too conservative for the majority of America. And so maybe if they were to actually look at the facts and how Americans really think, instead of taking polls and misrepresenting them to use as a talking point, things would be much better in America. And because of that, I think the whole RNC is pure BS.